it's game time. Well guys, it's that time of year. That time of the year at the end of every year when we all come together to give you our top 10s. Whether it's in video games, TV, music, or in my case for film. In case if you guys have not seen the title, or unless if you blindly clicked on this video, I'm here to give you guys my top 10 worst movies of 2021, aka my top 10 shit stains of 2021. Contrary to the films that I absolutely love, all which I'll be talking about tomorrow for New Year's Eve, these are the films that I absolutely either dislike or I hate with the fire of 1,000 suns. I know a lot of people out there prefer to put their best before their worst, but personally for me, I like to give up the bad before the good. Hence why I do my worst and my best. Before I continue on, a couple of guidelines I must issue like each and every year I've been doing these videos. First of which is this: I have not seen every single movie this year. If you want me to wait, we'd be here to either 2023 or 2024 for that matter, and I don't think you guys want me to wait that long before I did my top 10 movies of this year. Second of which is this: this is my subjective list. My films that I hate are not gonna be the same ones that you guys dislike or hate, and you know what? That's completely okay, because here is the thing, guys. In case if we all forgot a certain thing, a very important thing in terms of film or just art in general, art is subjective, not objective. Okay? Clear on that one? Nice. Third and final, since this is my top 10 worst, I just want to have a great time venting on my frustrations, venting on my anger at these films that every time I sat down in the movie theater, or whether it was at home and streaming, I wanted to scream. Before I continue on to my top 10 worst films of 2021, I do have a couple of dishonorable mentions. Films I don't like, but they didn't quite make my top 10. With that being said, my dishonorable mentions are Those Who Wish Me Dead, Cruella, Candyman 2020, which is easily my most overrated film of the year, and The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. You guys may not have made my top 10 worst, but I still don't like you nonetheless. With that being said, let's get on to my top 10 worst movies of 2021. Let's get it on.
Number 10.
Starting off my top 10 worst list, at my number 10 is a movie that I did not think was going to make it on here. But I gotta tell you guys, the more and more I thought about it, the more I disliked Marvel's Eternals. I know, it surprises me as much as it's surprising you guys right now. I really wanted to love Marvel's Eternals. The MCU is one of the greatest film franchises of all time, and very rarely has the MCU had a misstep. Iron Man 2, Thor 2, unfortunately for me, Eternals goes with that mix. Eternals would have worked so much better as a Disney Plus miniseries. They decided to instead cram 7,000 years worth of story and lore in 2.5 hours. How is that not a big red flag right there? 9 main characters who maybe only 4 of them get any resemblance of character development? Technically, the film is great. Visual effects are amazing. The cinematography is great. The score is great. But everything else, the character development, the story, and everything else, this is a sloppily put together mess of a snooze. I had originally gotten my tickets to see Eternals opening night in IMAX. After I walked out of this movie, I canceled my reservation immediately because this is one of the few MCU films I can't see myself seeing ever again.
Number 9.
I think that 2021 was actually a pretty decent year for musicals. I loved In the Heights, I thought West Side Story was great, but then I saw Dear Evan Hansen. As you all know, musicals are among my least favorite genres of film. Dear Evan Hansen shows me why that is the case. Dear Evan Hansen has good intentions. The idea is there and the concept is there, but the execution of those said things was not in the best way. In fact, it was really bad. I completely understand that Ben Platt plays the main character, Evan Hansen, in the Broadway play, and I can totally see why. He's a great singer and a great actor. But in a movie that requires close-ups, seriously, you look at the sky and you just think, you're not in high school. you're either in the senior year of college or about to graduate college. Isn't Dear Evan Hansen about 2.5 hours long or close to that? God, does it feel so much longer than that. There's a particular reason why I'm not a big fan of musicals. I have never been a big fan of when there's someone in a conversation and then out of nowhere they start belting out notes. There are so many parts in Dear Evan Hansen where I just went, especially during a scene with Julianne Moore, which, oh my god, I felt like it was never going to end. I completely get that there are big fans of the musical out there, and you know what? Hey, I guarantee this is better on the Broadway play because I imagine they cut out so much stuff. As a movie, for what they did, oh my god, is it bad.
Number 8.
The best word that I'd use to describe my number 8 is annoying. Because, oh my god, Venom Let There Be Carnage annoyed me to the T. I was not a fan of 2018's Venom, minus a couple of small things. I didn't really have the highest expectations going into Venom Let There Be Carnage, but I had hope for Carnage. I will give them credit here. They got Carnage and Cletus Cassidy right. I thought that Woody Harrelson did a great job portraying Cletus Cassidy, and when Carnage was on screen, I loved every moment. But everything else, oh my god. Everything that I hated about 2018's Venom was doubled down in this movie, aka the comedy of this movie, and the back and forth between Venom and Eddie Brock almost drove me insane to the point where I actually got a headache listening to Venom's constant one-liners comebacks. Like I mentioned in my review, I had talked to my buddy Real James afterwards, or actually after a particular joke, and I asked him, dude, is it me or are you also getting a headache as well from this? And he said yes, he was too. It is so haphazardly executed, and I understand that Andy Serkis wanted this to be a thrill ride, a 90-minute thrill ride, but it comes to the film's detriment when nothing is given time to breathe or develop, especially when you put one of the greatest Spider-Man villains of all time, Carnage, on the big screen. By the way, as far as I can recall, for the first time. Oh my god, did Carnage deserve so much better than this.
Number 7.
This is another one that pains me it's on this list, but oh my god, Halloween Kills. It baffles me that this is the same creative, well, almost the same creative team from 2018's Halloween. What happened here, guys? 2018's Halloween I thought was great. It set itself for a lot of success. It was a great new fresh change of pace, and not to mention the road of opportunity was great, and it only set itself for success. The look and the vibe I got from this film was that it wanted to be essentially the Dream Warriors film, but for the Halloween franchise. Unfortunately though, not only did I like the creativity of Dream Warriors, but I liked the personality of Dream Warriors. I have not seen characters this stupid in a Halloween movie since Halloween Resurrection. I have always looked at Laurie Strode as the main star of Halloween, and they essentially put her on the bench for like 90% of the film. The kills of this movie are gnarly as can be, and some of them are very creative. At the same time though, I felt like they were more concerned with the more creative kills and the bloodshed rather than, I don't know, making a coherent and a believable story here this time around. The mob mentality scene. I completely understand why it's there, but at the same time, guys, it felt completely and totally out of place. That scene just added, I think, what, 20 minutes of unneeded screen time to a movie that was not only frustrating, but it killed, no pun intended right there, it killed my anticipation for Halloween Ends. As a Halloween fan, man, this movie disappointed me in many more ways than one.
Number 6.
Next up at my number 6 spot is Spiral the Book of Saw. I was never a big Saw fan, minus the first one, which I think is pretty decent. Spiral looked like it had quite a bit of promise. It looked like the film was going to be Seven, which is one of my favorite films of all time, meets the original Saw, which I think is pretty decent. Combine those two together, it looks like you have something new and fresh and a new direction for the Saw franchise that could probably make me a Saw fan. Instead, what I got was a generic cop thriller meets one of the worst Saw sequels. I mean, let's be real, the Saw sequels suck. Spiral is either one of two films, either cops yelling at each other in a generic cop movie, or people screaming and torture the entire time. When the opening trap has laughing that has made me and my friend laugh in hysteria, you know you're off on a bad foot. Only one trap was creative, yes. One trap, I believe, out of 4 traps. And that plot twist, the twist, was so stupid stupid. I was watching this with one of my best friends. He gets the plot twist 30 minutes in. No joke. When it comes to Saw as a franchise, I don't know why nor how it has continued. These films were never scary to me. Saw should have ended at Saw 3D.
Number 5.
Coming up next on to my number 5 spot, I saw a film this year for the first time finally, saw Gross Point Blank. A really good and actually hilarious film with John Cusack. Seriously, check it out. In that film, there is a sentence that John Cusack says, and I'm pretty sure I'm paraphrasing him when he says, "Yeah, thanks for monetizing my childhood." And that sentence right there is what I'd use to describe Space Jam: A New Legacy. I don't really consider this a movie. I mean, sure, it's a movie. It presents moving pictures, there's characters, there is a plot of this movie, there's a script, there's things that resemble a film in this movie, sure, but Space Jam: A New Legacy is nothing more than a feature-length advertisement, a 2-hour one at that, for HBO Max. The original film is a guilty pleasure for my childhood. There is a nostalgic value, but even I can admit, the original film, while it does have nostalgic value, it's not particularly good, but it's a film that I do enjoy. Michael Jordan isn't a great actor, but at least in that film, I was able to buy him. LeBron James in this movie cannot act to save his life in this movie. It's only this film was concerned more with having references upon references, references. You can have as many references in your script as you want, but if you don't have a good script or a good story or good characters, no matter how many references that you have, it will not back you up. One more thing that I wanted to mention, for everyone out there that's still making the excuse, it's a kid's film. It's not made for you. Please stop making that excuse. Please and thank you.
Number 4.
Coming up on to my number 4 spot, I guarantee you guys are going to be shocked that this is not higher, but believe me when I say this, there are 3 other films that actually anger me more than this. But seriously, are they ever going to get a Resident Evil film right? Are they ever? I had only the slightest amount of optimism because the production design, the behind the scenes film I saw, it looked like they were actually trying to put us in the world of the video game. And do not get me wrong, Raccoon City, the police department, not to mention the Spencer Mansion, they looked fucking phenomenal. Everything else though is a big bus fire. I should have expected this knowing that the director of the film directed Strangers Prey at Night, which you all know I also hated. Kaya Scodero as Claire Redfield, I thought she was great, but the other characters do not act like or resemble the characters I know from the video games. The biggest mistake they made, adapting 2 games into 1 film. 2 games into 1 film. Whose bright idea was that? The zombies don't look like zombies. The CG is so terrible to the point where when I saw Liquor on screen and the final boss, I started laughing. Welcome to Raccoon City is so bad, I would rather watch the first Resident Evil film from Paul W.S. Anderson any day of the week over this. Oh my god, this was bad.
Number 3.
God, it's time for my top 3. Oh. Coming up next at my number 3 spot, the Forever Purge. Admittedly, I did at first like the first movie, not the first Purge, but the original film. Over time, I have subsequently disliked that film. Each one afterwards has gotten worse, although Election Year is yet to be topped. This 1 hour, Forever Purge, comes this close to being just as bad as Election Year. This doesn't even feel like a Purge movie. It doesn't even feel like a Purge movie. The Purge, I laugh when I think about this. The Purge keeps being touted as the next great horror franchise. This franchise? Really? There is nothing even remotely scary about any of the Purge films. How this film is not only directed, but how this film is shot comes off like a Lifetime movie, or at best, a direct-to-DVD Purge movie, because that's how this film should have been as. And I swear to God, if there's another Purge film, I better look this up really quick. Please don't let there be another Purge. Please don't let there be another Purge. Please don't let...
Number 2.
When it comes to my number 2, I felt like I was losing brain cells watching this thing. Fast and Furious 9, aka F9, aka F9 whatever the fuck you want to call it in all honesty. I'm sure you all are familiar with the phrase jumping the shark. Now, do not get me wrong, from Fast 5 until Fate of the Furious, they've been slowly toying with the flaws of physics more and more and more. But to the point where they were doing it, but they were still having fun with things and there were still stakes with the characters. And F9, they're doing it so much to the point where there are not only any tethers to reality, but there are no, and I mean no, stakes whatsoever. There are so many times in this movie where characters should have died left and right. Whether it's Dom and Letty Tarzaning a fucking charger from island to island using a single thing of rope, whether it's Roman being pancaked literally by a army truck coming out unscathed, or Roman once again being shot 1 billion times coming out unscathed. What story is there? I mean, sure, there's stuff involving Mr. Nobody, there's stuff involving Dom, there's stuff involving Letty. Dominic Toretto has always been a guy about family, not letting go of family, not turning your back on family, always being there for one another. Then, why in the fuck do you not mention your brother for 9 movies? I could care less about a finale to Fast and Furious. The Fast and Furious saga has officially, in my mind, run completely out of gas.
It's number 1.
We're here at my number 1 shit stain of 2021. Out of all the films I saw this year, no other film angered me to the core. No other film had me going like, what? No other film this year made me want to walk out multiple times more than this movie. But my number 1 worst movie 2021 goes to M. Night Shyamalan's Old. Oh my god, this movie. When M. Night hits, he hits. But oh my god, when he misses, he misses. And holy crap, did he miss big with Old. Old is his biggest miss since The Last Airbender. Every single thing with this movie is just terrible. At the start of the film, there is intrigue, and that only gets weirder and weirder. And don't get me wrong, I like me some weird movies. I mean, A24 has made some of the weirdest shit out there, but the weird here is just on a whole nother level. Not only does it get weirder and weirder, but it gets worse and worse, and so much worse as it goes along. What the f... The cinematography may look nice, do not get me wrong. Michael Ianakis is a great DP, has a great eye. You could have a pile of shit right in front of you, and you could light and color that pile of shit in any way you want. But that pile of shit is still a pile of shit. There's no tension, and for a horror film, there's no scares. I can't say I was scared. I was laughing more, and I was flabbergasted about what was going on screen. Old has some great ideas and some great concepts. There's a bunch of great ideas in this movie, but here's the thing. But having the great execution for those set ideas is a whole other ball game. M. Night misses the execution on every single one of those ideas. The acting is atrocious. The camera work is atrocious. The music, what music was there? And the pacing, oh my God. There was a part I thought I cut to credits. I thought I cut to black and I thought I was done. I was just about to start walking up. Then it came back and I literally thought, oh my God, what was this movie? I completely get that Old is a polarizing film. There are some people out there that love this film or even like the film, and hey, I'm glad you do. But there are others like me that either don't like the film or hate the film. I hated Old so much, but simply put, Old was by none the worst movie I'd sat down and experienced watching in 2021. And in the good words of my buddy Lucas, Old can suck the devil's dick. It's done. My top 10 worst films of 2021 video is done. I don't have to talk about these movies anymore, I hope. All joking aside, guys, that's gonna wrap it up for my top 10 worst movies of 2021 video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please comment and let me know below what were your top 10 worst films of 2021? And also let me know a couple of your honorable mentions as well while you're at it as well. If you guys want to follow me on social media, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. I'm also on Snapchat, so if you guys want to follow me on all those social media platforms, all the links in the usernames in the description below. I hope you all enjoyed my top 10 worst films of 2021. If so, please hit that like button, also subscribe, and don't forget that notification bell for when my latest video goes live. If you guys want to see my previous 2 videos, please click either right there or right there. And of course, until my top 10 best films of the year hits tomorrow, I'll see you all next time, or I should say, tomorrow.